Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, 75 years after our independence, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has once again given a call for quit India. This time, it's not for the colonizers, but the evils of India. What was he referring to? Let's break it down for you. Today, the opposition under the aegis of I.N.D.I.A has worn black clothes to Parliament. The black is in solidarity with Manipur and against the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But are the black clothes hiding their own deeds? Is there no accountability that can be sought on their own states? जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं काले कपड़े और काले सवाल. What about the lives they have plunged into darkness? Watch how young men are being fired upon. 2 of them were shot dead while others were injured in police firings. Were these terrorists? Wanted criminals? Not at all. They were farmers protesting against constant power cuts, and for this they were shot dead. And the first explanation that came was that they had misbehaved and locked up police personnel. But these visuals clearly give you a different story. Maro goli, maro goli. It's the police going after the farmers. The police say the farmers were unruly and pelting stones, but watch this video which clearly shows that the police were actually firing from the rooftop. And if they are on the rooftop, how come they were the ones being attacked? They trained their guns at these hapless farmers and protesters and rained bullets. Watch for yourself.
मार दिया रे गोली मार दिया रे एक को मार दिया रे अरे फिर से 2 को मार दिया रे पानी ले आइए अरे फिर से 2 को मार दिया रे.
While the opposition wears black to protest against human rights violations in Manipur and Bihar under Nitish Kumar and Lalu Yadav's Raj, a mantri justifies this murder of 2 innocent farmers and says, "Ye to hota hai." Listen into this shocker.
जांच का रिपोर्ट आ रहा है, डीएमएसपी लोग लगे हुए हैं. हाँ, सरकार क्या कर रही है? माला पहना रही है. कानून व्यवस्था को कंट्रोल तो करना पड़ेगा. भाजपा हमारे खिलाफ नहीं बोलेगी, और जब सरकार में थी तब क्या बोलती थी? कोई अनियमितता नहीं थी. ट्रिपिंग आजकल होता है, बरसात का मौसम है, बारिश हो गई, कहीं पेड़ गिर गया. अब बदमाशी जब करेगा कोई तो पुलिस क्या करेगी? लाठीचार्ज और गोली तो चलती है.
Well, he is the energy minister, and he says if somebody is unruly, then action will have to be taken. This is why perhaps the Prime Minister, in a scathing attack on Team India, has again given a call for quit India. Listen in.
जैसे गांधी जी ने क्विट इंडिया का मंत्र दिया था, वैसे ही आज का मंत्र है भ्रष्टाचार क्विट इंडिया. भ्रष्टाचार छोड़ो इंडिया. परिवारवाद क्विट इंडिया. परिवारवाद छोड़ो इंडिया. तुष्टीकरण क्विट इंडिया. साथियों, I.N.D.I.A के नाम के लेबल से ये अपने पुराने कारनामों को छुपाना चाहते हैं. यूपीए के कारनामों को छुपाना चाहता है. जो लोग टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग को गले लगाते हैं, जो लोग भारत में भाषा के आधार पर बंटवारा करते हैं, जो लोग विदेशों से संबंध भी इस आधार पर बनाते हैं कि उनका वोट बैंक नाराज ना हो जाए, जिनके लिए राष्ट्रहित नहीं बल्कि वोट बैंक सर्वोपरि है.
So, dressed in black, the opposition sheds tears for Manipur, and rightly so, but are completely silent on Bihar. And when asked a question, see how they retort.
कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने मणिपुर के बारे में एक शब्द नहीं कहा, क्योंकि नरेंद्र मोदी जी चुने हुए लोगों के प्रधानमंत्री हैं, आरएसएस के प्रधानमंत्री हैं, उनको मणिपुर से कोई लेना देना नहीं है.
PM Modi seems to be rattled by the opposition unity which is being created by Honorable Nitish Kumar, and he sees his impending defeat in 2024 elections. Now he has got all negative things when he talks about India.
बहुत नफरत फैलाया है देश में, अर्थव्यवस्था में दीमक लगाया है, बेरोजगारी बढ़ाई है, महंगाई बढ़ाई है, संवैधानिक संकट पैदा की है. 2024 में भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जाना है, इनको भगाना है.
You know, Mr. Modi, we've got you just where we wanted you to be. We wanted you to react. We wanted you to be negative. And you're doing just that. And we'll carry on spreading the word. India, jeetega Bharat.
Well, let's go a step further and look at how Trinamool Congress Neta Kirti Azad tweeted a video of a woman being brutalized by forces, ostensibly in Manipur. This was later fact-checked and turned out to be a video from last year in Myanmar. In fact, that is something that should be doing Quit India. And that is the question that should be asked. The question tonight is not just what is the responsibility of the Prime Minister, but also what is going to be the responsibility in the opposition-ruled states. You can talk about freebies versus governance and development expenditure. Karnataka is your example. You can talk about Bihar. You can talk about Bengal. But that will be called whataboutery. Only questions on Manipur and black clothes on Manipur will be seen as democratic and just. But ladies and gentlemen, before I move any further, there is breaking news coming in on the Newshour tonight. Let me first tell you that as far as the meetings of the Home Minister are concerned, the Home Minister has held several meetings and all-party meetings at that. There was an all-party meeting held in the end of May when the Home Minister was in Manipur for a good 72 hours, meeting every single community and every single opposition leader in Manipur to try and find a solution. In fact, over the last 9 days, touch wood, but there hasn't been any incident of any fatality being reported in Manipur since the 18th of July. But obviously, nobody is watching that. What we can also tell you as information from our top sources in the Home Ministry is that the Prime Minister, even while he was traveling abroad, was in touch with the Home Minister and the Home Ministry, sometimes even 3 times a day. And the Home Minister has held not just 1 but 6 rounds of meetings with the 2 communities in Manipur, their representatives in Delhi, and trying to find a middle ground. He has also met with various other representatives of the society, MLAs from Manipur, who even dined at his residence at a time when the opposition continued to charge and say that the centre was found napping. The question tonight is also about the video clip that went viral. On that, Big breaking news coming in is that video clip and its videographer has now been apprehended and arrested. That's the other big breaking news we are bringing to you. We're also going to tell you that in that videography, the videographer, his mobile phone and the footage is being examined. The case is going to be handed over to the CBI. The center is expected to give an affidavit in the Supreme Court as early as tomorrow. And in fact, the center has also proposed that the trial relating to this particular case be held outside Manipur for a fair trial and a fair hearing to the victims of the heinous crime in Manipur on the 4th of May. All of these steps and the affidavit expected in the Supreme Court tomorrow, but the opposition continues to stall Parliament and continues to raise the question of Manipur. So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question that we are asking on the Newshour tonight: has the opposition's duplicity dented the Team India spirit? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me tonight, Ajay Alok, BJP spokesperson, Naval Kishore Yadav, spokesperson of the RJD. But my first question goes to Dr. Sanjay Jha, author and suspended leader of the Congress party. And Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you a very fair and square question. Protest against Manipur you must, but total silence on what happened in Bihar? Aren't these the same farmers against whom you had put the Prime Minister and the BJP government in the dock just about a year ago? And thank you for joining me, Sushmita Dev, Member of Parliament of the Trinamool Congress. Sanjay Jha, why is there so much silence on this, firing and killing of 2 farmers protesting against just power failure in their fields? They can be shot dead, and there's no civil war that is on, but nobody can answer. And the minister, energy minister, can come and justify it, saying that if somebody is unruly, then action will have to be taken and punishment will have to be given. Fantastic. What is the democracy? What is the Team India you're fighting for, Sanjay Jha?
Navika, before I answer your question, the BJP under Mr. Modi in the last 4 years has to be the most corrupt, communal, criminal and cunning government India's parliament or politics has ever seen. And it is important to point that out because the BJP is masters in whataboutery. And that this point, Navika. On May 3rd, when the violence broke out in Manipur, over 60 persons were killed on that very day. And the center actually invoked emergency provisions, after which the central forces came into Manipur immediately the day after. So who is responsible? Everybody keeps talking about Biren Singh. Obviously, the man is incompetent and doesn't deserve to be the chief minister. But the buck actually moves to the center equally. So Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah are therefore not able to take any action against Biren Singh because they are all culpable in the extremely horrific situation of whether you call it ethnic cleansing or bloodletting that has happened there. Let me answer your question even on Bihar and the other absolutely whataboutery and the allegations being made about violence in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh or wherever. I think every opposition leader has said it categorically. As a responsible member in politics, let me tell you, Navika, at no point has anyone said that if there has been a crime, a sexual molestation, an attack of rape, gang rape, horrific things that are going on in this country. And I agree, they're not happening in just one state. They're happening all over India. And I do believe that's a serious challenge. But I want to make a differentiation between what has become an ethnic, violent, organized mob violence, which the Supreme Court said is using women as some kind of a weapon to try and justify a communal hate campaign. And I think that is the only distinction the opposition is making. I believe that in Rajasthan, and I have it on fact, And in Rajasthan, the perpetrators were arrested. And by the way, they happened to be members of the ABVP. And I don't want to make politics on that, though. I think the larger point here is that the Prime Minister of this country responds after 78 days for 36 seconds on a video that has shamed our country worldwide. And today he has the audacity. I mean, he is the Prime Minister. Nobody's taking that away till 2024. But he has the audacity or the effrontery to abuse the opposition, because the opposition is telling him, what are you doing for women and those poor, members from both communities in Manipur who have been made into some kind of a pawn on a political chessboard? I think this is a deep...
Dr. Sanjay Jha, may I ask you that the ethnic issues in Manipur, were they created in 2014 or since then, or 2023? I just want to ask you, because as far as I remember, the first ethnic violence that happened was in 1993, and about 750 people lost their lives. May I just take you to that era? Because my research team and I've covered Parliament at that time, so we dug into the records, and we found that there was one debate held in 1993 on the 12th of August for 2.5 hours on Manipur. One debate in 1993, and that was responded to by the then Minister of State for Home. Minister of State for Home, and he was the only person who made a trip to Manipur then, stayed there for 3.5 hours, and he was Rajesh Pilot. We all know him, and we've all covered him as young reporters. Today, when you ask the Prime Minister to come and respond, you should not also forget the performance of your own Sarkar when it was in power. And let me also remind you, another time, and I went through these records because an old acquaintance of mine who had worked in Lok Sabha showed me and told me about 2011, when this issue of Manipur was raised again, because there was violence at that time. And again, I forget, maybe 300 odd people had lost their lives even at that time. And may I tell you, in 2011, Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. When this demand happened in the House, just at that moment, Dr. Manmohan Singh just left the House and went in. I just want to bring this to your notice from the archives. I'm not taking pot shots. I'm still not saying that it is not time for the Prime Minister to speak. But check your own record, Dr. Sanjay Jha, before you point fingers.
Navika, you have raised a valid point. Let me answer that, okay? I am not going to deny here, because I'm a student of political history, that the Northeast has not been, shall we say, a tinderbox, or has not simmered over decades. And we all know it is a complicated equation with several ethnic, tribal issues, etc., and obviously immigration. But here is the larger point. You have covered riots, and I have seen your work when you worked with the Indian Express, etc. And I know you're one of the most respected journalists in the country. It's good to see a woman in the forefront. And here is the point I wish to make, Navika. Having covered the riots of, say, 2002 or after the Babri Masjid riots, etc., why do we expect things to change now? One is because of television, and the other is because of social media. Now it's not easy for people to indulge in a communal conflagration of bloodbath and get away. Can you imagine in the modern day and age?
Oh,
it's a viral video on Twitter.
Okay.
That is
all right. So you're saying because there is social media and because there is television, the Prime Minister should answer, while in the past it was all right for a Minister of State to answer the one debate that was held. I really don't get it. I really don't get the logic, but let me get in Sushmita Dev. Let me get in Sushmita Dev now. Sushmita Dev ji. Well, the viral video, I've said to you on several occasions, Sanjay Jha, I've said to you that there is absolutely no place in civilized society for that kind of an incident to take place, and 140 crore of us would stand and demand action on that, and actually hang our heads in shame that this happened to a fellow Indian or fellow human being anywhere on this planet. I have no dispute with that. So please don't take this as the first day when we are beginning the Manipur debate. I've said this before. I'm on record, and I'm a woman. I cannot take these things lightly. Having said that, I'm only talking about the duplicity. कुछ चीजें आपको दिखती हैं, the others you can very comfortably shut your eyes to, and that is my problem, especially when you demand for the Prime Minister to come and respond. I want to ask Sushmita Devji. Sushmita Devji, I know I've even covered, politics when your father was there and he was the Northeast man and we used to all go to him to get gyan. And he was dealing with the same Manipur situations even then, Sushmita Dev. It is not of a recent origin. My question is, where is the healing touch of the opposition? Is there only confrontation? Is there only, poking your fingers in people's eyes so as to get a political response from them so that your politics in the run-up to 2024 can go? Do you not realize that the situation is fairly, explosive there? For last 9 days, there hasn't been a fatality, but that doesn't mean that peace has returned. The fact is, shouldn't we be building a Team India to go and give the healing touch? Where is that effort, Sushmita?
I completely agree with you. What Manipur needs right now is a healing touch. And that's why an entire delegation of the I.N.D.I.A Alliance is due to go to Manipur to meet the people in the relief camp, special focus on women and children, because I've seen relief camps where mothers are giving birth to children. There's lack of food because, some of the highways are still closed. But I think what seems to be bothering you is the fact that we are raising it in Parliament and we're demanding that the Prime Minister should speak. You see, however brute the majority of the BJP may be, however powerful the Prime Minister Modi may seem to some people in this country, but fact is, he is accountable. He must come to Parliament and he should stop. And people who are defending him and saying he need not come to Parliament, why are you insisting he debates in Parliament, are treating him like a demigod, and it's not necessary. He's a Prime Minister of the people of India. And if the opposition demands that he comes and speak, it's because we want him to participate in the debate in which everybody is willing to participate. So I don't know why this hoo-ha about why this demand for the Prime Minister to come and speak. He's not God, he's Prime Minister.
I'll tell you why. I will tell you why, Sushmita Dev, because there are experts dealing with the situation. The Home Minister has held several rounds of talks. Do you not want him to outline what are the talks and where they are leading? He is the one who's looking at all the investigations. Don't you want to hear from him what he has to say about each and every specific investigation? The question which is why the question that arises is, are you insisting and do you really believe that the Prime Minister will be at a loss for words? I mean, however much the opposition thinks that they've got an advantage over the Prime Minister, do you actually have any doubts on how good an orator he is and how he can actually take the wind out of people's sails when he begins to talk? Why is the opposition somewhere or the other hell-bent on not the situation in Manipur, but standing on form that we have forced the Prime Minister? Because that seems to be your end game more than the situation in Manipur.
I think, Navika, you're wrongly briefed on a few issues. Let me set the record straight. No one has said that the Home Minister can't speak in Parliament. No one has said that the Home Minister can't give the details of what steps he's taken in Parliament. He's more than welcome, I want your viewers to understand, to come and speak in Parliament. Let me also put on record that when the Home Minister called an all-party meeting, every single party of the opposition went and met him in the Home Ministry. They heard him out. There was not a single adverse statement that came out after that all-party meeting. We waited patiently that all the assurances that he'd given the opposition parties will make sure that there is peace in Manipur. None of that happened.
But even there, is it not true, Ajay Alok ji, that there was an insistence that the Prime Minister speak in the Business Advisory Committee?
Now you give me at least 2 minutes to speak. You are saying Prime Minister is a good orator. I totally accept it. I cannot deny that the Prime Minister is an excellent orator. He's fantastic on the social media. But the fact is that the #1 orator of the country and #1 on social media actually did nothing for 77 days, not as much as appeal for peace on the Twitter handle. And he just kept mum on Manipur till the viral video came up. So if he's such a good orator, if he's so confident of what he is, then at least come to the parliament. Is he absent from the parliament? He hasn't come.
Ajay Alok, Sushmita Dev and Dr. Sanjay Jha feel that he should actually appeal on Twitter when the internet is down in Manipur, and that would solve the situation in Manipur. Please respond.
Navika, you must have seen both Sushmita and Sanjay. They have made a classical case of whataboutery right now on your television screen when you are discussing duplicacy. They haven't spoken about a word about duplicacy, but they rather have focused their all attention on Manipur. Because they don't want to see their house first, but they want to see rest of all everything. Well, central government is in charge and is fully responsible for what is happening in the country. And mind my words, the violence started on 4th on just a small comment of a High Court that Maiti should be given ST and SC categorization by the state government, and the proposal should be sent to the central government. And the whole riot erupted. The investigations are going on how the riot erupted. The CBI is there looking after. Today the video maker also, who kept the video for 77 days and released just before the parliament, he has also been arrested. So let the truth unfold itself. We'll come to know of it. And by the way, these ethnic clashes have a history, a long history. And if we start tracing the history, and don't mind, when you have called for the no confidence motion, the Prime Minister is definitely going to answer that. Because when you were calling for under Rule 276, the discussion should take place, then the concerned minister was need to answer, but you were insisting that Prime Minister should answer. So both these things never had any relevance. Today what we are talking is Manipur is definitely an issue for us because we have solved almost 90% of the problem persisting in Northeast. Because under the Congress for the last 75 years, Mr. Sanjay Jha, you must be knowing this better than me, that your policy was isolate Northeast, last and the least. So that right from the Nehru days, when I.N.D.I.A conspiracy started, that the Padri was appointed as a consultant to the Prime Minister in this country to look after Northeast. And the continuous process of appeasement kept on taking place, nobody bothered. Like in census in 1921 says 4,000 Christians, census in 2011 says 44% Christians. How this happened? Who is responsible for that? Every socio-economic condition has to be taken whenever there is a racial conflict. I hope you will agree with that. And these racial conflicts are coming to a standstill. We are trying to find a solution. But you guys are trying to just ignite the things. Rahul Gandhi goes there. Very nice. For a healing touch. But why does he visit only Cookie's camp? Didn't he find time to visit Maiti's camp in Imphal as well? But he didn't. Don't you call this as an appeasement? Was this the problem? If now the delegation of so-called I.N.D.I.A is going on 29th and 30th, will they visit only Cookie? They won't visit Maiti's. This is your approach to solving the problem of Manipur? Then I'm sorry, my dear friend, you don't want to solve it. Like you have never solved it in the last 75 years.
So let me get in Naval Kishore ji also. Naval Kishore ji, Team India, ये जो Team India आपने बनाई है, you have made this Team India very good thought, good marketing and great branding. But my question is, if this incident that happened in Qatar, it had happened in any BJP ruled state, wouldn't you have gone out on the streets and said that BJP is killing farmers in this country and they are the most Hitler-like government and that they have absolutely no sentiments, nothing for farmers of this country? Today, there has been absolutely no word that has come in from Nitish Kumar ji, the Chief Minister of Bihar. I want to ask you, अब आपके कॉन्शियंस का हालचाल पूछेगा कोई?
नाविका जी, आपने बहुत जबरदस्त कोशिश कर रहे हैं यह बताने के लिए कि इस प्रधानमंत्री से ज्यादा कोई पावरफुल आदमी इस देश में नहीं है, इनफैक्ट दुनिया में नहीं है। ऐसा दल कोई नहीं है जिसके सामने आपने सही बोला, ये सरकार और प्रधानमंत्री सिर्फ भाषण और राशन से काम चला रहे हैं। अगर कार्यों के आधार पर देखा जाए, जवाबदेही के आधार पर देखा जाए, तो वो देश छोड़कर भाग जाएंगे। क्विट इंडिया वो करेंगे जब क्विट पार्लियामेंट कर रहे हैं, पार्लियामेंट में नहीं आ रहे हैं तो देश भी छोड़कर भागेंगे और सवाल पूछे जाएंगे। तो जहां तक सवाल है मणिपुर का, मणिपुर पे सवाल जो पूछे जा रहे हैं वो एकदम अलग है। जिन घटनाओं का जिक्र करके आप चाहते हैं कि एक तुलनात्मक आधार पे हम ये बता दें कि होम मिनिस्टर काम कर रहे हैं, एक फंटास्टिक मिनिस्ट्री भी है, उतना ही कैपेबल है जितना प्रधानमंत्री है। 16 या 18 राउंड टॉक्स हुए थे किसान का जब आंदोलन चल रहा था। क्या हुआ उसके बाद? एक साल में 700 लोगों ने जान दी, शहादत हुई। उसके बाद प्रधानमंत्री एक फाइन मॉर्निंग आते हैं
तो आपने उठाकर शूट कर दिया, तो आपने उठाकर शूट कर दिया। नहीं, तो आपने शूट कर दिया और वो सही है।
आप चाहे कुछ भी कहें, जो गवर्नेंस के अपने तौर तरीके हैं, जो प्रशासन के अपने तौर तरीके हैं, उसके सैकड़ों उदाहरण बीजेपी रूल्ड स्टेट में भी होगा। लेकिन हम ये नहीं कहते हैं उसको जवाब देने के बदले कि परिवारवाद भारत छोड़ो, भ्रष्टाचार भारत छोड़ो, लेकिन हमारा डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर बन जाओ महाराष्ट्र में।
लेकिन जवाब कोई आया भी नहीं, जवाब कोई आया भी नहीं। It is the duplicity is out there in the open. Not one response on Bihar, but there is so many reams and reams of papers that are written and said about what the Prime Minister should be doing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I set out to demonstrate to you the duplicity, it's right here, proof to you on air on this debate. Well, you are the judge, the public of India. You judge on whether there is fairness coming in from Team India or not. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, the Gyanvapi debate.